I know we don't exactly have a fire today, but you can see the coals. That'll keep us warm for at least 4 hours, and we're at negative 2 degrees. I'm sure, I mean, I know. Every time I say the temperature here, we're at negative 40 here in South Dakota, North Dakota. I know, it's cold everywhere. I get it. It's 36 degrees in Florida. It really doesn't matter where you're at. It's cold. So, the difference is I have to make a YouTube video. Should at least tell you why I'm sitting in front of the fireplace instead of going outside. Because it's cold and I don't want to. Besides that, the wind noise, and I'm chattering, and I got the hood on, and gloves, it's hard to push the buttons on the camera. So I'll sit here in front of the coals and enjoy the warmth. Had to get up, I think at 1:30, start the fire last night. Wasn't too bad. I didn't get it good and hot in here, so I had to start it again at 4:30. You just start it, and you let it knock the chill off is basically what you're doing. But during the daytime when I'm awake, I keep feeding it until the house gets to about 80 degrees. So I just wanted to give my sorrows, sympathies to the violent protesters last night that went out and did all the attacking, and apparently all of them got frostbite, and it's overwhelming the medical facilities. I'm sure you've heard of it. I mean, it's been just plastered in the news. The violent protesters, burning down the cities after the inauguration of the new president, and they went out, started terrorizing. Of course, they got frostbite, and people are losing their toes and fingers and ears, and I'm sure you've heard of it, right? Yeah, neither did I. I bring this up because I just can't get over preppers and the fearmongers. It's insane. Watched a video not that long ago. I mean, he was telling us that we had to prepare for the inauguration. You just plan on it, is what he said. You got to plan on it. It's going to happen. And at the time he said it, I'm thinking, man, the temperature's going to be really cold. I seriously doubt that. Protesters like to go down, burn down things in the summertime when it's nice and cool out or warm out, and they can sleep out in the night. It just never makes any sense. It's just got to be a constant fear that these things are going to happen. Constant fear. So, no, the protesting and the violent protesting, it never happened. I'm not saying it can't happen, but why make predictions when you don't know? You can just say, in general, there is a potential, but I mean, I think we all know there's a potential for violent protests. It's happened since the 60s. Is anything going to change? I mean, I remember I think it was the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, LA was on fire because of the cops were found innocent for beating a guy. It happens. I get it. But, let's just pump up the fear. So, and the thing is the people who buy into it just amazes me. Why are people buying into it? I don't get it. But yeah, I if you want to be afraid, it's cold outside. Stay inside if possible. Even Skitty figured that out. She went out for like 2 seconds, and I'm coming back in. So, we let her learn her lesson. We let her out for a second. Of course, I'm afraid somebody's going to drive by and see her and then report us, because that's what everybody's doing on Facebook groups. Just reporting everybody's leaving letting their dogs go out. I suppose you're supposed to just let your dogs go potty in the house nowadays. Hey, real quick, I want to interrupt this video and ask you to watch to the end of this video. Get up to that up next box, and there'll be a link there. The up next box will take you over to my other channel, and you can watch my lawnmower repair business. And if you'd subscribe and watch the video all the way through, I'd really appreciate it. It'd help out. I'm trying to get over 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours so we can get monetized, and then I'll limit how many times I've asked you to watch those videos over there on this channel. I really do appreciate it. It's been a big help. I really am appreciative. This morning, I spent the day paying my government everything I have. Like I've said, I didn't make any money this year. To tell you how self-employment works, you pay your taxes, your regular taxes, and then you also got to pay self-employment tax. Now, self-employment tax, I don't know why they call it. It's Social Security is what it is. Unless you're an S corporation or an LLC or something, you have to pay the full tax amount, the Social Security amount, which is 15%. If you have a regular job where you get a W-2, you pay 7%. The organization you work for pays the other 7%. That's 7.5%, I should say, which equals 15%. And then the company gets to do a tax write-off, which I don't even understand all that. I mean, okay, so what? So they're doing a tax write-off on the 7.5%, so it really doesn't affect them. They would either had to pay it, your Social Security, or they would have had to pay the tax. So really, it doesn't hurt them any more than what it already has hurt them. But when you get a 1099 from like YouTube, then you have to pay a full 15%. Well, so then you pay quarterly payments for your estimated tax. So last year I had to pay a tax, and then they say, okay, this is how much you're going to have to pay us each quarter for the next year, assuming you're going to make that kind of money. So they assumed that I was going to make the same kind of money this year that I did last year. Well, I didn't. Now, it's my responsibility. Let's say I made $20,000, just for the sake of argument, last year. Well, if I see that I'm going to end up making more than $20,000, let's say I'm going to make $30,000, I see it happening, then it's my responsibility to adjust my estimate payment to match the $30,000. So let's just say I'm paying $800 a month, or excuse me, a quarter, because you pay it every quarter. So you pay your first $800, and then you realize, you know what, I'm going to end up making more this year than I did last year. So then the next time I got to adjust for that, and I got to say, okay, I'm going to pay $1,000 per quarter, and then the next quarter comes around, and I see that I'm going to make even more than what I thought the last quarter, so I got to pay more. So it's my responsibility to adjust for that. But if you make less, let's say I made $20,000 last year, and then this year I'm going to make $14,000 or $15,000, let's say $15,000, they won't let you adjust down. You have to continue to pay what the original agreement was. So if you said you were going to pay $800 a month, that's what you got to pay, even if you're not making enough money to pay it. It's a pretty big struggle. Now, of course, you're going to get that money back at the end of the year, so you know that's a pretty good deal, I guess. Except, here's the kicker: you got to go through hoops to let them reimburse you your money. You overpaid, but they want to hang on to it. And what they say is, it's if you let them hang on to it, then you won't have to pay so much in your quarterly next, for this year. So first quarter, let's say I didn't make a lot of money, so I had to pay $200. Let's say I have to pay $200, let's call it April. If I don't leave my money in there, I got to pay that $200, but they want me to leave my money in there, so they'll drop the money I have to pay. The problem is, all day long, I've been fighting, trying to figure out why that's not adjusting. So I said, heck with it, give me my money back. Well, you got to go through hoops to do that. The default is they want to keep your money. And by a simple accidental click, you can end up not getting reimbursed. They just keep it. And I did that one year, and I didn't understand. I mean, this is just stupidity. I know somebody's going to go, do a tax expert. You got to get a tax expert. Well, when you're not even making, what do they call that? Poverty level. When you're not even making poverty level one year, why would I want to go spend my money on a tax expert? That makes no sense. Just deal with the consequences of whatever it is. So last year, I made a mistake. They kept my money. So on Tax Pro or Tax, whatever it is, one of those tax software programs, I said, okay, the government kept this much money, plus I paid this much in, so this is how much the government has of my money. But the government didn't seem like they acknowledged that they kept my money. At least not as much as I know they kept. I mean, I wrote it down, how much they kept. So they sent me a bill for $700 on top of everything I paid in plus what they kept. So I don't fight it. I just pay it because I don't want to be audited. I just figure, well, if I send the money, they'll just shut up. But I do think they scam. I know people are saying, get a tax expert. But just to be clear, I did go to H&R Block the first year I opened up my consulting firm. And she did all our taxes, and she was supposed to be a 1099 expert and all that, self-employed expert. And we went through everything. Every piece of receipt and paper and everything. She wrote it all down, got it all taken care of. And we still got dinged for $700. And I remember it was $700 on the nose. They said we didn't file something. And so we argued, and they said, okay, well, you're going to have to fax us the document that you filled out. So we faxed it. Well, they couldn't find the fax, so we faxed it again. And they lost the fax. And so they ended up saying, well, this is becoming useless. You're not faxing us the paperwork that we need, so you're just going to have to pay it. So we ended up paying $700 anyways, and the tax pro. So I don't think it's, it's just a scam. They're going to, the IRS does not care. It's $700. What's the big deal? Just pay it. You're self-employed. You're rich. I don't even think they look at the numbers. They don't look. They don't care. They see 1099, oops, self-employed. They make tons of money. So kind of a rant on the taxes. Well, then, of course, I've been trying to get my license plate renewed, and I hate going to the license office. I mean, I literally flirt with the people behind the counter just so they will treat me nicer. 80-year-old woman behind the counter, and I'm saying, hi, how are you? Oh, your hair looks beautiful. And Carolyn's sitting behind me like, I hope she understands what I'm doing here. Because you really got to sweeten them up, because they just constantly are yelling. They're just constantly yelling. I remember one time somebody said, number 4. Well, let's say I was number 4, so I walked up to the counter, and some guy behind her said, hey, you're supposed to do this first. I'll get to you when I'm ready. Just like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's already angry. And I didn't make her angry. So I, put the flirtation on real thick. And here's my papers, and you got to grovel like a peasant. That's exactly what it's like. It's like a peasant. So I hate going in there. So you can do your taxes or your license plate renewal online. So it says, copy your last receipt verbatim. No matter how, just verbatim. So I went out to the truck, got my last receipt, and I went into the page, and I copied everything exact. And it didn't work. So, of course, the receipt, everything's in caps. So I'm thinking, well, maybe everything's supposed to be in caps. So I copy everything in caps. Didn't work. And I did it, probably 24 times, just trying to figure out what it is I'm doing wrong. Nothing worked. So I just resigned to the fact that I was going to have to go to the license office. Well, somebody on Facebook group said, hey, I see that the license office has moved. Where'd they go? In the conversation down in the comment section, and they said, do they send out the paper? There's a reminder they're supposed to send out. And Missouri's terrible about it. I think this year I finally got one. I've never gotten one before. Somebody said, well, no, just go online, you can do your taxes. And I said, hey, how do you do it online? Because they won't let you. I've tried everything, and they won't send me a pen or nothing. I don't have a pen because they don't send me the paper. So she said, well, email them. And so I didn't even realize you could email them. So I went down there. Sure enough, there was an email address. So I emailed them. And like 2 weeks later, they finally said, okay, here's your pen. Everything is a nightmare when it comes to government. Everything. Everything is so inefficient. How you do your taxes. Who understands it? I'm sure there are people out there, oh, taxes are easy. Well, maybe, but not for me. I just can't stand them, so I guess maybe that's why. So, taxes, difficult. Getting your license renewed. It takes you weeks. And you got to keep it in the back of your mind. You got to constantly be worrying about it. I got to get my license done. I got to get my license done. I got to get my taxes done. I got to send in my... that's another thing. We don't have any bills all year long that I got to worry about. Insurance comes out automatically. As long as there's money in the account, they can take it. Phone bills. As long as there's money in the account, they take it. What else is there? I don't think there's anything else that we have to pay monthly. So everything's taken care of until the end of the year. I got to pay personal property tax. I got to send that in. I got to pay the truck tax. So you have your property tax, you have your truck tax, which are two different taxes. You would think they would combine them. Hey, same guy, same address, one bill. Nope, two bills. And then you got to get online to pay that. And then they charge like $10 extra to pay those. So either I drive out there, pay $10 in gas, or I pay the $10, well, actually $20 because you got to do it twice. So you pay your personal property tax. Everything just gets piled on. And nobody cares. And so everybody wants the government to do something about taxes. Everybody. I really think that everybody complains about taxes. But nothing changes. Here's what's funny, is now they're talking about doing tariffs, which, if you think about it, from my perspective, is an interesting idea. So let's say they drop income tax. So I have all that money left over, $800 a month, whatever it is, or $800 a quarter. I have all that money left over. And so now the company who is overseas has to pay a tariff to bring their product in here. So that raises the product price. So let's say I want to buy something that's normally $400, but I have to pay that tariff tax. So let's say it's 20% or whatever it is. So what is that, another $80 or something? So now it's $480. Okay, but I still have that $800 that I just saved not having to pay income tax. And I can choose, here's what's really cool, not to buy it. If I think, you know what, that tariff is just too expensive. You know, luxury tax, that's an interesting one. So you go buy a boat, you got a luxury tax. Well, you can choose not to buy the boat and not pay the tax. Well, the same thing, you don't have to buy things. That's the nice thing about, in my mind, the tariff. Whereas if I don't pay the income tax, no matter what they say, I could go to jail over making poverty wages. I think it's ridiculous. So if you'll click this up next box, it will take you to my other channel where I'm working on a lawnmower. So if I can inspire you to really think about what's happening in our world so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.